Hood postman, city, hood, click. Let's go. Had a little difficulty, guys. Let's go though.
Filthy guap. Filthy guap.
It's a jungle in the ghetto, so you better.
Filthy guap.
It's a jungle in the ghetto, so you better beware. It ain't nothing but gorillas, high and tiger the best. Pro Max, Zaz's killing for tourists. Step foot up in this jungle, leave out in the hearse. Cold on Percocet, city girls, yes, sex, all eyes, no doubts, full of shells, candle wax, candle lit, Brody head guy, shotty shot back. Guess he knew it was real when he died, he ain't come back. Round here, snakes, we ain't gorilla, man, no fear. Bro was facing 10, gave him up, now he back to win, man, it's every day. On the floor, no other way. In the ghetto, better get you some cake, no birthday, no heart, no love, nigga, what is V-Day? Cause when you down bad love, digitally your leeway. Might find yourself in the he say, she say, every day, all day, who am I say? I'm the hood postman, 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 always got motion, always keep motion. I'm the hood postman, 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 I'm the hood postman. Wanna get homies like Rennie Loki.
Shout out to the mailroom nation, the mailroom goons like Rennie Loken. Yeah, I had to do, man. I had some typical difficulty. I didn't even know things was going on until I just decided to click on, and I realized that things were not working correctly. So I had to improvise, guys. Sorry for the delay. Well, welcome to the mailroom. When you come in, take a look at your mind, examine what's in your heart. You can go anywhere in the world to get a couple of lives, but you come right here to get the truth, and the truth you shall receive. Before they had handguns, they had handgods. Man up, you get on the bus and let me take you to school. This is not a glorification nor a grammarization. It's always an education, guys. We are about to go down Oaks Park. We about to go down deep in the park. We got to talk about CB, Crazy Bob, my dog, my ace school. And man, y'all hear Rockhead talk about him all the time, but I'm about to give it to you. Yeah, we're gonna talk about CB Crazy Bob. But first, before I do that, I gotta break down the elements and the circumstances of which the block that we grew on, the block which was Spring Street. Spring Street was one of the most iconic blocks in the neighborhood, and that's both to Oaks Park and Midtown and Santana, because we all wind up at some point. We all wind up on that block, so that's why what made it so uniquely designed. That block was like fire. But originally, the original guys that grew up on that block was myself, Crazy Bob, David Wang, which is his little brother, and Blue Boy and his older brother. Then Robert Lee was his older brother. Then we had my brother Age, my brother Ange, my brother BK, and my brother Rat. And then there was Rockhead that stayed next door right there, right? And then there was, let's see, we got to move on. We got White Boy Greg and White Boy Tim. We got Robert Thomas. That was Frog. That was IB. Ivan Brooks, a Handgod right there. Plus, I got Crazy Bob, a Handgod. We got IB, a Handgod. We got Burger. And then we got his brother Jeff. And then we got the Whip Appeal. The Whip Appeal, woo! Blenders. Whip Appeal, man. I remember Whip Appeal got out with Kurt from Front Hood. And Kurt was known for having a devastating knockout. I mean, I'm talking about throw them things real clever like. And man, he had to come back the next day talking, man, who was that dude? Because Whip was on him. Yeah, but shout out to Whip Appeal, man. And that's my guy right there. Then we had Killer Mac, then Alonzo McNeil, and we also had their little brothers, I can't think of their name. And then we had JD, Gary the Governor Miller. We had let's see. Oh, Darnell Miles, D-Shot, and his brother Gerald Miles. Then we got the Gripper down at the dead end, the Gripper. And we got another hand guy, Fred Hollins, hand guy. All these cats was on Spring Street, guys. Every last one of them. Then there was Rick Carter. Rick Carter can leap on top of a car from standing from, it was like just a vertical. He can stand at a vertical and just leap up and jump on top of the car. And his brother Lindale Carter, a.k.a. Dog. Then we had the Davenports. Then we had T-Rock, Alfie. And we had Wink. We had Wink, Pee Wee, and Keith Ray. Then we had Drag Bastard, his brother Snake. I says T-Rock, Alfie, okay. And then I forgot Potato Head Paul. Potato Head Paul was part of the Spring Street family as well. And then there's Lester, Mitchell, and his brother Poo Poo played for the Dodgers, all on Spring, man. And I mentioned the Davenports. I mentioned that. Oh, Crazy Mike. Psycho Mike. Psycho Mike was off the Spring, the S Block. And then, and prior to that, a lot of people didn't know that Jerry Wicker, Earl Walker, all them lived on Spring Street during that time too. So shout out to them. And then they uncle Odell, rest in peace. Odell, rest in peace. Robert Thomas, rest in peace. Gary Miller, rest in peace. Let's see who else rest in peace. Lindale, rest in peace. Alfie, rest in peace. Jeff, rest in peace. And if I missed anybody out of that equation, man, I do apologize because Fred Hollis, a Handgod, he rest in peace. So growing up during that era, guys, we grew up with a graveyard disposition and a tombstone mindset. That just is what it was. I am not putting nothing on it. I'm giving it to you straight how it was. You know, it was that observable reality, that day to day, that what we had to go to, and the things that inspired and reflected us in the sense of Crips don't die, they only multiply. So one of the things that struck me, myself, it was me, myself, Crazy Bob, Sugar Bear, Drew Fly, and Big Mac. That was our crew. That was my guys right there. We was either in Drew Fly. Drew Fly had bought a 73 Caprice Classic or 72 Caprice Classic. The same year he had got into it. Remember they used to do that bunky trash back? He fell off one of them trash trucks and sued him, and he came up on a grip and he bought that car. Man, that put us a rolling. But what got us going down during that time was Crazy Bob, because Crazy Bob always had them skills. He was the hand guy. I remember I seen Crazy Bob knock a cat out. The guy was rushing. Bob was backing up and giving it to him. And he caught him on boom. And the guy went on one knee and Bob caught him again. Bam! Put him out. I'm talking about this a beautiful display of hand, that fisticuffs and the way you handle your stuff and do this type of thing. He was just an incredible guy, and he still is. You know what I mean? He's off. Last time I checked, Crazy Bob was somewhere in Washington. And you guys always heard Rockhead how he, admired his uncle and everything he do, man. But yeah, Crazy Bob, man, he was a different dude, man. Very talented, very athletic, and draw. Me and him with two sisters. I went to a girl named Aretha. He went with her sister named Ernestine. So we worked for National Fire Hose back after we did some gang banging, but we had to go get a job too. So yeah, that was that. Crazy Bob, man, he used to Rockhead mother, what was his name, Pearl, had a guy that her boyfriend name was Roger. During this time, Roger had, I think it was a Plymouth or a Dodge. I remember it was like the green. Shout out to Henry. What's going on with you, man? You met the oldest brother Bug, the Davenports. Yeah, the Davenports, Ray, Earl, and Dabo. Dabo, rest in peace. I think the police. I forgot about Dabo. He part of the Davenports too. Rest in peace, Dabo, man. He got into it with the police and they shot him, took his life, But shout out to rest in peace to Dabo. But anyway, Bob used to go get the Plymouth, and the Plymouth was like it was like a bucket, but it was the only thing we had pumping at that time until Drew Fly got the Caprice Classic. So we was always used to hit San Pedro over there with where what they call the highs and the lows. The Dodge City was down in the lows, and there was always parties out there. And this was during this time where they called window pane. There wasn't nothing over there. It was neutral, because I'm talking about 72, 73. So they wasn't game banging over there yet. So we used to go in there partying all the time. We used to go over there and kind of like push them around, you know what I mean? Because we used to always, but there was five standards in our neighborhood that everybody dress code followed. That was Silas Cole. Silas Cole used to wear the overalls with the Ace Deuce with the matches going around with the quarter-length leather coat. That was one style. Then you had Doug. Doug Norwood used to wear the Godfather with the two braids dropping down. And Doug used to keep the Stacy's on because he walked like a duck. That's why we call him Doug. Keep the legs kicked out. Then you had Snake. Get like the Snake. Everybody used to buy the Nathaniel first. Get like the Snake. Snake had the Chuck Taylors, the khakis, and he had the Pendleton with the hard beanie. That was another look. And let me see, that was Snake. What I said, Silence Cold, and then there was Duck. Let me see, I'm missing two more. Who I'm missing? I'm missing two more. And Stanley Tookie Williams, because Stanley Tookie Williams was around at that time. So everybody wanted to be Stanley Tookie Williams because of all the muscles and all his notoriety and how he packaged his Crip. So a lot of youngsters, like, that was like what we looked up to, or what we reflected on, or what our brand of Crippin was going to look like when we saw that. And even Mac Thomas, Lee Thomas, and Melvin Thomas, they was my homie Denbo's cousins. So that was on Mac David. They would be around at their house. So we had all these different people coming through, and during that time, Bitter Dog Bruno, Red Dog, King Ning, Salty, Frosty, everybody was coming over there because Oaks Park was adjacent to the nudist park, and then it was like just a few streets over, you run into the Bloods, the Pyrus. So that was ground zero for if you was about that gang life, that's where you want to be, because they can get at you and you can get at them. You didn't have to go far. The Red House was in play, Oaks Park, Tucker Block, and then Midtown was on the backside. So we had and I cannot leave the Linwood Crips out, which was, y'all know, is Palm and Oak now. They was on the other side. That's Toenail and Stewart, Gary Stewart, Wino, let's see, Peabody, Andrew, just to name a few, Duck and Shorty. Those, and all these guys used to convene, and then not only that, everybody used to come to Oaks Park. Marcellus, Salty Frosty, King Ning, all these dudes, Tookie, everybody used to be at Oaks Park because Oaks Park was right there. And occasionally, this is the first time I ever got disciplined, man. I got disciplined. What happened, we left the park and went up Golden Street. Golden Street was a straight shot, straight up to past Pet Boys, Dave Hummercrone, Market Basket, Tom McCann, Gallon Camp, Daniel's Jury, JJ Newberry, Sears at the time, Sears and Roebuck, and Save Eyes. So we walk through there. We go to the line. We go in the grocery store, stacking up groceries. So when we get ready to walk out, Tookie just looked at the people and they just didn't say nothing. They didn't want to have nothing. You got this big old humongous dude that got these overalls on with this strap, this long earring hanging down, like they don't know what to make of that, but it didn't look right. So they didn't say nothing. So we walked up out of there. So we circle back around. When we come through, there's a young lady. I'm pushing it up a little more because this is during the time when they start wearing them. So this is maybe about 75, and I'm gonna go back to the 72 era. And I pulled the red bandana off the lady's head and threw it on the ground, and Tookie made me pick it up and apologize. Which guys, I was 100% wrong, but I just wanted to prove myself that I was down, but that just wasn't the way to handle it, because I picked on a defenseless person that, but all I saw was the opposite color of what we was representing, and I reacted to it, but I reacted to it in a bad way because it should have never happened. But, I learned from that and I moved on and I became a better person. But yeah, so coming back to CB, Crazy Bob, used to get the car. Now we back in 72, 73. We used to get the car from Roger. So we would go to these parties all up in San Pedro, and over there, what's known as Wilmington, and all that where the window pane Pyrus is now. But back then they weren't there. So we would go in there and we would party. And a lot of times David Wayne, he would go get the 22 and the 38. Say, Wayne, go get the pistols. He go get the pistols. Bam, man, we jump in the car, man. We would be in the car about 5, 6 deep going to the party. Back then, you could get away with that. I don't know what it was about that, man. We be piled in there like we fresh from TJ or something, crossing the border. That's how I look, right? So we would hit these parties, but this one particular night, we come in the party, we went into Roby from Bishops. He had a 65 Chevy at that time, and he had some girls with him, and we get on him, we get on him, we get on him. Scared all the living daylights out of Roby, and we laughed about it. I ain't gonna get no details of what happened, but yeah, it was a funny situation. But you know, years later, me and him, we talked about it, and it was all good. But yeah, this was a funny moment, and but but CB Bob, man, this a real down dude, man. And still right to this day, he still got his black rag. He's still in the picture. You can see him with he keep that cane, that walking stick. And I think Bob would be about 66 or 67 somewhere, because Blue Boy would be about 68, 69. Blue Boy was like our big brother, but Gertrude Montana lived over there, and everybody, man, that Spring Street was just a live street, and it was a light going on there. And I think I put up a picture of White Boy Greg before with my homie Harry-O. Not the Harry-O, y'all know Harry. We call him Harry, but I call him Harry-O. But him and my brother, they was all in the picture, so y'all probably seen him. I see Henry, he know the Davenport. So yeah, so Rockhead always, that's how Rockhead got his style of cripping his dad. He looked up to his uncle, Crazy Bob, and Crazy Bob was like, back then I was calling myself Sin Q. I went from Huey to Sin Q to Melly, to Mel, to Gangster Mel, to Melly Mel, to the Hood, to Post, to the Professor, to the Hood Postman. So I don't have many monikers. I guess it all depends on how we evolved and how we educate ourselves, and we become different in life, and we start choosing different monikers to fit maybe the era or whatever. But one of the guys during my time I looked up to Sin Q, because Sin Q was part of the SLA, the Seminole Liberation Army, and a guy named Robert Banks, who taught us how to grapple, who taught us jiu-jitsu, who taught us how to box, who taught us how to wrestle. He was part of the SLA Liberation Army, and they used to, man, Oso used to be over there, White Boy, and Donald DeFreeze. They would all be at his part. And during this time, man, we young, we don't even know what these dudes is about, but we know that they on some radical stuff. They far and way beyond some Crip and Blood stuff, But they got Robert, he let us see all the guns he had, and man, our eyes just got super big. But he said his guns wasn't for killing black people. That's what he told us, and he used to talk to us about that all the time. I remember it really well, that all my brothers and all the homies, we all used to go over there, kick it at his house. And, and one particular day, we out there as kids, I could have been about maybe 14, 15 at the time. The feds come through, and they were showing us, we didn't know they was feds. They just pulled up white men in these black cars with these suits on, and they pull up and showing us pictures of M16s. Hey, any of you kids seen any? No, we, back then, that was just a known fact. You did not, as a kid, you did not talk to the police about nothing. I don't care what kind of questions they asked and what was happening. You knew that. That just was like, that was a big thing in black families. You didn't talk to the police. You didn't talk to them about nothing. And so they came through looking for it, but what had happened is that the Compton National Guard Armory had got hit, and all the M16s came up missing. But that's a whole nother story. So yeah, but me, Crazy Bob was a Handgod. Sugar Bear was a Handgod. My cousin Drew Fly was about 6'5", 6'6". Like a bone crusher type, like Frank the Animal Man Fletcher or something. That was his personality. The Big Mac was a big guy. He's down in Washington, and even Bob. I think Bob is in Washington as well. But I'm telling you, God, we had some very good upbringings, and we also, all of us came from two-parent homes, and it was just the atmosphere and the environment that was, like I say, we all model ourselves either at the Silas Cole, Donald Duck, or Snake or Tookie. Those, and it's one more I'm missing. I don't want to say it was Chili Pimp, but it was somebody else that always just had this cool, this real gangster type of look, with the weather, the lace, the waistline leather coat, right? Remember the two tones, the black and the gray or the brown and the light brown and dark brown, and then maybe a Dutch boy hat with the gloves with the fur in it, the rabbit fur in it. You have some Wallabies, some Levi's. That was another like style of uniform that the Crips wore. And you always wanted to be in uniform, because if you were in uniform, you might get mistaken for somebody else. But you can always tell the Crips because they had a certain distinct look about them. They had the earring and they had the rag. They had the blue rag in the left pocket, so. And back then, we was also wearing them B-15s. We call them B-15, the bomber jackets. You used to go to the Navy surplus store, the Army surplus store down there on Long Beach Boulevard, Long Beach, right where Dooley's used to be, and buy those. And truck cooking with trucking. It's like 78. What's up, driver? How's it going? Man, the road is good, bro. Jake Brown Townhouse and Horse and Motel Yogi. Yeah, Yo used to be up there. Yo was an old sport boy. Horace and 8 Ball, and it's Horace and 8 Ball and Cowboy, they brothers. Yeah, Yo moved around quite a bit. Jake Brown, yeah, the Townhouse, all that. RDL, what's happening, man? What's going on? The Double Wrench Mob. Moderators, that's it, baby. What's up, L Dub? What's up? What's up, OG man? Hope all is well. Oh man, I'm glad I caught you on, man. I'm glad you caught me on too, man, because I had to get this out, and it is only so many ways we can tell these stories, because I don't want to tell stories that's gonna like incriminate, but all the guys I gave you guys, like that lived on that block, myself, Crazy Bob, my brother Age, and BK, Gertrude Montana, Rockhead, Rat, Crazy Boy, I say Crazy Bob, Blue Boy, David Wayne, White Boy Greg, White Boy Tim, Robert Thomas, which was Frog, IB, Ivan Brooks, Burger, Whip Appeal, Jeff, Killer Mac, Lonzo McNeil, JD, Gary the Governor Miller, Donald Mills, Jerry Miles, Donald Gripper, Fred Hollins, Baller Ron. Baller Ron's my brother-in-law, rest in peace. That's Frabo, Monty, Wink, Drag Bastard, Snake, and T-Rock, Taterhead Paul, and let's see, who else did I say? Alfie, yeah, Lester, Mitchell, Poo Poo, Brooks, Dog, Lindell Carter, Rick Carter, Kenny Ray, let's see, who else? And there was a lot of people on Spring Street back then, You imagine all them personalities on Spring Street. I'm talking about, just like within like, you got the 1100 block, the 1200 block, the 13, the 14, all the way down to the 1700, and further down to the 1800, all the way down to the dead end. So, all these dudes lived on the street. But the crazy part about all that is that if you go over there now, none of the people I just named lived on that street no more. Nobody. Everybody gone, moved on, and moved out. Most of our parents has passed away. Mr. Kitchen passed away. My parents passed away. Gertie's father, Roscoe, he passed away. White Boy Greg and Tim, their mom, Miss Shirley, she passed away. Mr. Carter passed away. Mrs. and Mr. Brooks passed away, and so on and so forth, man. Everybody, all the parents are gone, and then those houses and properties, other people came and started buying up the community. Just like when we moved over there, we bought up the community from the white people, I think we was like the second or third black family on our block. Then the Kitchens came, and then they moved on. Michael Lynch lived over there with us, He became an LAPD, did good for himself. So yeah, we had a mixed dynamic over there, but at the same time, everybody took on. Like I said, we grew up with a graveyard disposition and a tombstone mindset. It ain't a perfect message. It ain't no perfect messenger. It's only a perfect message, and I'm just trying to give you a perfect message and give you a vision to where you can actually look back in time and see how when we was running up and down the block, racing and playing football and and kickball and stuff like that. The girls were playing tetherball and hopscotch and jacks. Everybody, you don't see that now. The kids don't come out and play. They all, this generation of kids is weak, man. They weak, way weaker than us. We were strong. We was doing push-ups. We was building go-karts. We was taking milk crates and snatching tires off of baskets and building go-karts. Building mini bikes. We snatching broken lawnmowers and stealing lawnmowers and lawnmower parts. Put together mini bikes and stuff go karts. We was doing all that, man. Climbing fruit trees. But these kids today, they don't know that life at all. All they know is just they want five things: blunt, PlayStation, a girl with a big fat booty, a bucket, and some social assistance. I don't know how you live off of that, man, but that's just where they at. That's where they at, man. Which is how do you survive off of that? What is it? How do you even begin to, you know what I mean? Because I'd like to inspire, impact, and give perspectives. And I'll look back in time, and then I'll take you all the way back to 72, and then I'll bring you all the way back up to present day. And that's just with my stories. But my stories don't really have a lot of incredible blood and glory. I could do that stuff, but what's the cost at that? What is the cost? What is that? Is that really what we want? Is that really what we desire? The bloods, the gut, the gory, to be known as, you know what I mean, killing one another. I get it, because at one time, Al Capone, Legs Dime, Machine Gun Kelly, Mark Barker, Bonnie and Clyde, all these people was hated. Now they celebrated in American culture. So I want our culture to be that, you know what I mean? I want to be able to celebrate the Tookies and the Donald Ducks, the Raymond Washingtons and the Jamel Barnes and all these, even the Puttons and the Tams and the Big Herman Juniors and the Volcanoes over there and Jimmy Butlers, all on the Piru side. They should be celebrated, bro. Even though we did what we did, but it was just, there was just something about our culture. We got caught up in a dynamic that was never supposed to be, because had we had a stayed on the trajectory that we was on, I'm talking about the Black Power movement, man, we would have overwhelmed these people. We would have really overwhelmed these people, and it would have been, it'd have been something very different, bro. We'd have been something very different, man. And for some reason, man, that stuff abruptly came to a stop, and it changed everything. It just changed everything. And I just like, to be here and go back in time and be able to give you guys a glimpse of it and let you guys see it. And at the same time, walk through it, you know what I mean? Because I tell you guys that like in 78, 79, most of these guys that I'm telling you about, they was like already gone for various situations. Mac Thomas, a dude shot another guy and it went through him and hit Mac Thomas, and Mac Thomas died. You understand? But the guy that originally got shot, he didn't die. He lived. Right? Just I can call him right now and talk to him, But I ain't gonna tell you his name, nothing like that, because he don't like his name out there. But I'm just telling you, Robert Thomas Frog, gone. Like Frog used to put me, he used to fight in Broms and Cadillacs. He had the 58s, the 59s. We used to jump in his Brom and stretch out and go to Venice Beach, go out there selling water and stuff, They all gone, bro. Duck gone, Tookie gone, Killer Wayne gone, Killer Bray gone, New York gone. And even the blocks and even the houses over there, black people don't no longer own them. Somebody else own them. So y'all look real. It looks real strange when a bunch of black guys now, a bunch of black guys go stand in certain neighborhoods. Some of you guys can't even go stand in your neighborhoods because if you do, the people that live there now gonna call the police because you don't own no property over there no more. But thank God we still got people in our neighborhood that own property, so the homies can go over there and hang out peacefully and just have a good time. You know, there's still people over in our neighborhood, maybe not necessarily on Spring Street, but the other streets, McDivitt and Willow and stuff like that. And still, you know, and they can still hang out and do their thing. But, you know, I guess that's just the evolution. That's the time change, you know. And just think about, you know, all the people that's gone, like Alfie and Lester. Lester Brooks is gone. Gary the Miller gone. Let's see. I don't know where Killer Mac. I ain't seen Killer Mac in years. Robert Thomas gone. Let's see, who else is gone? Who I'm missing? Oh, Jeff is gone. Fred Hollins is gone. Them dudes are literally scared of Fred. Fred has such an animal spirit, man. He was an animal, you know. Matter of fact, that would have been a good name for Fred, Animal. You know, gone, man. They broke his spirit somewhere in that armed force. I don't know what happened to Fred. Something happened to him while he was in the army. And he came back, he was never the same. You know, interesting stuff that, you know, happened to us along the way, you know. And you be looking at these guys like they be fearless, you know. It's just like if you was with Tookie, man, you wouldn't think that nobody can do nothing to you or hurt you or harm you or do anything. That's just a feeling he gave you when his presence was around. You know, same thing if Snake, Silas Cole. Silas Cole was about, man, Silas had to be about 6'2", wore the ace deuce with the matches going around, had the quarter-length leather coat, had the overalls on with the biscuits. He had the biscuits on, shiny-toed biscuits. And, man, he lost his life in San Jose. I think he did a robbery or something out there, and I think the police gunned him down or something. Something happened to him. But just, you know, we called him Chocolate. That's what we called him, Chocolate. So it's a lot of people that I can mention that a lot of people wouldn't know, like, you know, Tommy Broussard, he's still around. Tommy know everybody. I'm Donald Prescott. I haven't seen him. Boo Hodges. I haven't seen him. Donald Prescott's not around. I haven't seen Donald in long years. Let's see, who else? Glenn Turner, A.B. Arthur Brown, A.B. Wolf, Lacey, Barkis, Donnie Wayne, Smitty. I ain't seen none of them cats, man. None of them. Big Roy Scott, rest in peace. Johnny Jones, rest in peace. JJ. Another dude that was built up, you know, like Tookie. But see, that was the era that people used to lift weights, you know, and everybody wanted to be huge. Everybody wanted to be strong. Everybody wanted to show, you know, what they was capable from here, you know. There wasn't a whole lot of this, you know, but they wanted to show these, you know, what that do, you know. And that went all the way from Compton, Washington, L.A. to other neighboring cities. That's just what it was. And as time went on, it evolved. And then once somebody pulled out one pistol, and the second pistol came out, and the third pistol came out, and then next thing you know, the crack era hit. And now you can buy more ammunition, more guns. So it escalated. But who was escalating? Who was making it escalate? Because we don't have no airplanes. We don't manufacture guns. We don't manufacture bullets. We don't do none of that. I think all this stuff was just prefabricated. It was already set up, and we just kind of just got led in those directions. And now we're dealing with the outcome of it. Not that we did anything to, of course, we are, you know, like I said, our disposition was graveyard thinking, you know, graveyard mindset, tombstone mindset, graveyard disposition with tombstone mindsets. But we didn't know that we was being manipulated the whole time to be these things and be destructive and tear down our own communities. You know, that even come all the way from the Watts riot to the 92 riots and to whatever other melees that happen, uprisings and things. But a lot of, you know, like I say, we bond under trauma. And, you know, and we got to stop doing that. We got to bond just in general. The heck with bonding on trauma, because if we bond on trauma, it's so temporal. And then next thing you know, we moved on to something else. Once the person go in the ground, everything go back. I don't care how much money, how many cars you got, you know. One of the biggest things that happen in Crippin', guys, and I'll talk to different Crips all the time about this, is when Turtle got killed. Because Turtle had such a great impact across Crippin' all in general. I'm talking about from LA to Compton to Watts to Linwood to Gardenia to Inglewood, Carson, you know, Tommy Gunn over there and Grant them over there in Stevenson Village, you know, Kelsey them over there in Delamo, which you guys know is 190, Big Kelsey, you know. All that, I mean, you know, just all the good people, man, gone, man. I'm gonna talk to my guy Jesse James from Playboy Gangster. He got pictures of Turtle and Tommy Gunn and all them when they was all in the yard, all up in San Quentin, you know, back in '82. Back when, you know, people started, when the Blue Magic, the Blue Machine and the CCO and all that stuff started, you know, people, you know, but all that did was further, I mean, it was necessary, but all it did was further divide. It's just unfortunate that they couldn't get on one accord. And that's been the whole problem the whole time. Is that nobody, because there was three, the three elders, the three mindsets. That was Raymond, Tookie, Mac Thomas. Those were the three mindsets during the early 70s. And then somebody got mad and broke it off, got jealous and angry and said, oh, I'm going to create my own set. Pookie had to play for Pookie, created about 2 or 4 different sets. Paybacks. He was with the Godfathers. He ran down into Long Beach, you know, and I don't know why Pookie was doing what he was doing, but I think Pookie was just a Crip of Crips, you know, just the Johnny Appleseed of Crippin'. Yeah. So rest in peace to Barefoot Pookie. And literally, you can imagine this dude walking up, he barefooted, he got a suit on, and he barefooted. Man, just standing. Imagine being in the forums and watching Mac Thomas knock a horse out. Or imagine barefoot preacher man Keedy Welch started 16 block, 5 block Crip, which y'all know is Nutty Block, walking on bottles, broken glass and stuff, you know, Vietnam veteran, you know. Now, Keedy was one of the hardest dudes over there, man, Compton, you know. A lot of people don't know that about Keedy. But, you know, I've been fortunate to know certain things and been privileged to see things and be around individuals, you know. I remember when Bill Bruno was at the house getting his perm. My sister-in-law Linda did his perm, man. Bill Bruno woke up and the curler stayed in the bed. His hair fell out. I think they was putting in their hair back in there that that's like a conch or some type of lie or something to relax their hair, you know. That's when Bitter Dog Bruno, Red Dog, Neen, and Frosty and them, they was all going down to Hollywood, man, trying to put their hand down in the pimp game, man. But that's why today, man, I you know, I live in my mind. I don't live below the waist, you know. And that's the main ingredient to being a pimp, is being able to live in your mind and not below the waist. Because when you live below the waist, that means you sampling the product. The product can't even get out there, get no money, because you keep your Johnson in it all the time. Man, that ain't no good. That ain't no money. You got to get out the way of that, man. But some people don't understand that. They just, it's all about foolery with them. But anyway, that's another story. We'll get into that another time. I ain't gonna go down that lane. Yeah, but yeah, we gotta always, as men, live in your mind and not below the waist. Who was that? Napoleon Hill said one of the most powerful emotions that a man has is his desire to have sex. But if he somehow harness that and transmute it to a monetary equivalent, he'd be that much further ahead. In other words, what he's saying, if you took that and took that same energy and build your life, you put all the foundation, you put the bricks, you put the room, you put the brick and mortar, everything. Everything is a complete house, right? You ain't got to look for no woman. She gonna come find you. I see a lot of women don't understand that a wife is already a wife before you find her. Because it says he who finds a good thing, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. He who finds a wife finds, in other words, she's already a wife when you find her. She's been trained up to be a wife. But so unfortunately, a lot of women hasn't been trained to be a wife. So they don't know how to be a wife. So that's what we're seeing now. So, but all that interconnects, all that intersects, all that is connected within our culture and our community, and then we don't want to talk about all these individuals that go to these penitentiaries, be gone for 20 and 30 years, and they be in there in man relationships and stuff, and then they come home and pretend like that ain't never happened. Like that, like it didn't happen, it didn't exist. They could go back to just having a relationship with a woman, but spent the last 10 years in a relationship with another man. Unbelievable. So all that interconnects and intersects, whether we want to believe it or not, or take into account that's you got to have some accountability, because it ain't just happening. Brick City, what's happening, man? Spiritual loner, mindsets of confused instruction. These are apples of what's wrong today. Yeah, apple don't roll too far from the tree. You're right. But what we gonna do about it is my question. What we gonna do about it? What we gonna do about it? How can we fix it? What is the plan? Because these kids don't follow. To be honest with you, these kids don't even follow what we did in the old days. They do something totally different. Do something totally different. They don't follow what we do. Something totally different. They into trends. We were into protocols and codes and pecking orders. They ain't with none of that because they didn't grow up like we grew up. Something that's very different, diametrically different. But if you guys ain't got no questions, man, ain't no use of me hanging. Mike, what's up, Mike? What's up, Michelle? You guys ain't got. You just want to sit here and listen to me ramble. Uh, you know, I don't know if that's entertaining or not, or do you guys get something from it, or is it sad? It's kind of like melancholy, right? It's kind of like a sad situation when you think about it, when you talk about it. You know what I mean? I know some people tell you stories, and the stories be filled of all the murder, mayhem, kidnap, robbery, and all that different stuff. And that seems to excite so many people, because they here for it, and they come to the internet just for that. I'm proud because you are a positive influence. Appreciate that, man. I try to be, man. I just try to be, I inspire. I want to inspire, impact, and give perspectives, and be able to articulate the time and the era without giving you, well, this person murdered this person and that person murdered that, because whether it's CK or BK, CK is color man killer and BK is black man killer. It's just all killed. They all died, And some died, at the hands of police brutality. Some died at the hands of other black men. Some even died at the hands of their own homeboy. I remember when I heard Kitchen Mario, he got hit in a crossfire. You understand? Friendly fire. That's how Bullet lost his life. Friendly fire. Porky didn't do nothing. They was fighting, true enough, but that was a fight. But it was friendly fire. So, I mean, when we look at it, man, we really just didn't know what we were doing, bro. We was hating and being disruptive and having evilness and just having this derogatory, meaning mindset and following this degradation, and just hating the skin that we in and all this stuff, man. It just took it somewhere else that it should have never been. Just think, I went to school with Cynthia Stanley. Marcus was there. Randy and Donald McQuiller. I went to elementary school with them. I went to elementary school with all the Fruit Towns. I mean, I'm talking about the Stanley Simon, Bubba Simons, Emmett and Melvin Burts, Emmett Burts, Roger Haynes, Daryl and Rodney Smith, Bobby Cuba, Marty Duryea, Debbie Bernard. Went to school with all them. Gangster Nate, went to school with them. And then to see them later on in life just because they wearing something different from me, and I'm supposed to just get mad at them and just don't like them. And man, that was crazy to me. I couldn't do it. Just personally, I couldn't do it. I've seen people do it, but I wouldn't finna fall out you for that. Me personally. I know some people is heartless and they grew up and maybe it's some bad circumstances to where they grew up in a hateful household. And so hate came easy to them. It didn't come easy because I had two parents and they told me right from wrong. There was morals, there was curfews, there were do's and don'ts, there was chores, there was mandatory cleaning on the weekend. Remember, we used to wash walls and strip floors for you on the weekend. Oh man, you better wash the whole house down. The windows, the walls, just everything. The mirrors, because remember, our mamas used to have mirrors all on the walls and stuff. Remember them beads used to be hanging. It's all kind of, that was that mod era. Yeah. So yeah, no. So it grew up, but then when you start getting into the streets, and that's when you start picking up this graveyard disposition and the tombstone mindset, because you earned that out the streets. That wasn't in your house. That was something you picked up. I remember when Bartender and Yogi and all them carried me home, because when the liquor store burned down over there right behind Oaks Park, we had shopping bags full of Silver Satin, Diamond Red, MD 2020. We had liquor. Back then, we didn't even know what Hennessy was. We probably threw that away because we didn't know what it was. Just that's the far back it was. Man, I got so drunk I lost one of my shoes. Never did that again. But this thing, bartending was a Piru, Yogi was a Crip, but I got home. You understand what I'm telling you? Because those friendships, that regardless to where bartender was our big homie because he grew up right there in Oaks Park. We knew who he was, even though he fell out with our older homies, but the generation up under them still loved him and looked up to him and used to man, we used to be in the park smoking the little weeds, the commercial weed back then, and sipping on a bottle of wine, Better Dog Bruno and some of the other grandies coming to LC and Baby Roscoe and Cartoon, them come riding up, hollering Pyro, bartender jumping out there thinking that, You know, he's saving us from something. I wind up at to save him. You know, stepping in front of Bruno. Bruno got a, 38. Looking to do this man harm. No, I can't let you do that, Bruno. What you mean? Can't let you do that, man. He up here with us, homie. Now, I know y'all might dislike him, whatever, but we love him over here. And they went on, jumped on their bikes. I mean, we went back and forth. It wasn't no easy situation. Now, I ain't saying that Bruno turned it down like that. I'm not saying that at all. It took some talking because Bruno was a feisty dude back then. Bitter dog Bruno was, man, it was hard to deal with Bruno in the early 70s. Bruno got shot in probably every year, every decade. He got shot in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and the 2000s. And that's not counting all the different times he got shot at parties and stuff. So Bruno had a very, very hard disposition, but he had a praying mama and daddy. And that's my point. He had a praying mama and daddy. Bruno's mother and father was in church every Sunday praying for him and have find Bruno. So when you look back at hindsight on all this stuff, you begin to like, you be like, wow, man, we made it, man. Dolores, a Paru named Doodoo. We had a homeboy named Doodoo. I don't know. We had a homeboy named Doodoo, though. Doodoo, rest in peace. Dwayne Bacon. Yeah, you're right, Dupree. You're right, man. Man, one movement, one people, one nation. Our people, the way they think is totally different from how we thought when we was coming up. You're right. You're right, Ezel. It's just, man, very different, man. Just think about how we treat it, right? And I'm gonna use the Ezel gonna know what I'm talking about when I say this. When we was out in the streets doing what we're doing, man, they called us gang members, gang bangers. And then when we elevated, they start calling us kingpins and drug dealers, right? That's what they called us, right? But we ain't never elevated to becoming organized crime, because organized crime is what? Intelligence. So they never have associated us with intelligence. Because if you look at, when you think about organized crime, what come to your mind? The white mafia, right? But never have in the history of this stuff, have you ever been considered organized crime? Because organized crime is a reflection of intelligence. Anything else is a lower form of thinking, a lower desire. Like I say, I live in my mind. I don't live below the waist. Although I did prior live below the waist, but I evolved. I became somebody different. And I started living it. I gotta call you back. Yeah. I gotta call you back. What's the Dodgers doing? Matter of fact, who got the Dodgers score? It's probably what he called it, telling me the Dodgers score. What's the Dodgers score, y'all? So the oldest Crip gang in Compton, on record, on the books, is the Carver Park Crips, and then the Grandies, then the Front Hood, the Oaks Parks, and then all the parks. 5-5. Cool. That's how all that happened, man. Because most of the cripping that was done in parks was like community cripping. Like you could be from this side of the block or this side of the Rosecrans or this side of Tucker, and you knew that you all had that park in common. And that's how Looters Park, because there's no Paru Street in Looters. So how did they become Parus when Paru is a Paru Street over on the west side, right? But they adapted it and they turned it into a gang because the Paru Street was really the Paru Street Boys. And then as Looters came on, they turned it into a gang. They kind of put rocket fuel in that. Yeah, they did. The Looters Park Boys, they were something different, bro. they was something different. And I'm gonna tell you something else too. And a lot of people may disagree or not. They may agree. Them Lime Hoods, they was on another level too. They was on another level, bro. Cause I remember there was time when Ludus Park went to sleep at the wheel, and the mob wasn't necessarily formulated and built like it became. It was the Lime Hood, man. It was the Lime Hood power. Them dudes over there wearing that god awful green. They wearing that god awful green. Them dudes right there. I'm talking about the Fingers, the Johans and the Corns and Sean. You know, I'm just naming a few. The Rick Dog. You know, and I'm just naming a few that I know. But yeah, Hearn Dog. You know, and there's many more. It's many more. I'm just giving y'all. I don't know what Beretta was from. Beretta used to be, man, that dude used to shoot at us so much. I didn't know where he was from. I just knew he came from that way. That's all I knew. Yeah. Did you ever do an interview with the killer? You know, these interviews can be they perplex. They're complex. And the reason why they complex because I can say I can do an interview with this one and I could do it, but for it to make it happen, it's very difficult. It's more difficult than you guys can imagine because, first of all, I had to build a trust with them. I had to talk to them on the phone, you know, and I had to just, you know, get them comfortable with the idea because everybody don't have the ability to just talk, but at the same time, talk in a way that is not incriminating, that is not misrepresenting anyone or under-informing anyone or misinforming any of that. So you got to have some type of an intellect and you got to be able to articulate the message that's going to resonate with your whole tribe because there's going to be dudes in your tribe that's going to hate you for telling the story, bro. But here's the thing. Your story is your story. History is medicine for a sick mind, which in history is a variety of human experiences we can teach from. So what's up, Tish Howard? What's happening? Man, where's Drabo at? Yeah, Dre was over there. What's your little brother name? Was it Skaboo? What's your little brother name? Yeah, well, anyway, yeah. Yeah, so yeah, everybody's not gonna be able to do that, bro. So to find people to do that, like when I interviewed Drake had this like real radical style. Then when I interviewed Lightbulb Suman, who was part of the CCO, was a real calm demeanor, but it was hard to get information out of him. He only gave so much. Then there's people like Rockhead who knows how to do it. Rockhead will make the story inciting. He'll give you points. He'll give you years, times, and dates. And yes, sir. Yeah, yes, sir. What's up, Trish? How's the family? How everybody in the family? That's my Banez family right there. Yeah. So everybody's not able to do that, bro. And it's easier said than done. So to find somebody from Kelly that's willing to do it, that's one thing. To find somebody from Kelly that's going to be okay and not be, you know, tripping off what his homeboy is going to think and how to, because your story, whatever your story is, your story. And you know how to tell your story. It doesn't necessarily have an impact on anybody else. And only if you start throwing names in there. You know, I throw names because most of the people I talk about, I really interacted with and I kicked it with, and I knew them. I went to their house. See, because back then we connected dots. If we didn't know your uncles, your aunties, your cousins, your father, your mother, and all that, man, we didn't talk to you. For what? Like Trish just told me, I know her brothers, her sisters. You know what I mean? I knew the family that lived on Banez, the mom, the dad. You know, I didn't know that. If I saw their mom, and I knew who they were. Let's put it that way. I never talked to them, but I knew who they were. You understand? Lollipop them and Darren them, you know, and Bernard across the street, and what you call them? What's her name? Bridget them, right there in the alley. You know, all these people, man. But to go and say, hey, I'm gonna just pull up and I'm gonna interview the Imperial Courts. Like Draws called me maybe about a week ago. I'm gonna call Draws back and see what he's willing to do, you know. And I'll get him. But let's see. People don't know how much Rockhead is dedicated to the young. It is a passion for the youth. I always noticed that about him. And I met Rockhead, and yeah, Rockhead has always been that. That's always. But he has learned to articulate himself, and he's been smart, and he's been clever enough to tell stories that don't harm anybody else. You understand? So, like, when I interviewed Membrane was a whole different type of story. So I had to go back in and take a portion of Membrane's story out because he said something that could have possibly brought harm to him. And I'm, you know, because I heard what he said. I said, nah, I'm gonna take that out. I didn't even want to chance it, you know. He said, nah, leave it in. I said, nah, I didn't listen to him. I followed what I know about this, not what he felt that, you know. So I took it out, you know, and to me it was very incriminating. So I took it out. So I have to be on point in that way, and I got to find people that know. Like when I did my boy Tidy Bowl, I was so happy to interview Tidy Bowl because Tidy Bowl represented the old hood, and I knew P-Dog and all them, you know. Been looking for somebody, and all I need is somebody from the boulevards to come, the 4 corner block. But to get them dudes to do that, man, and it's not easy. The Mac Mafias, that's all North Long Beach cats. You know, even the Hoovers, it's hard. The Hoovers are so much, they have so much going on. It's hard to get a Hoover to sit down and just break all that Hoover Connect, break down the criminal and the Crip side. You know, Tony Stacy can do it. Sam can do it. You know, but to try to get one of them to do it, that's impossible. Mumbles can do it, Soule. But to get one of them to do it, that's next to impossible. So yeah, it's not that easy, Joe. It's just not that easy, bro. And I know it's a much missing big part, a missing piece of the puzzle. But if I keep chopping at it, man, I think I get it at one point. Just like I came in and I did the Ducky Hoods myself because I knew enough about Joe Stein and Willie McKinnon and Rick Rock and some of the other people, you know. Big Wheel was a bishop over there. He's still over there, you know. I knew about the bishops. I knew about all that, the dynamics that brought all that together, you know. Half Step. So I knew enough to tell that story myself. Although they probably was like, man, he didn't go far enough, but I did it, you know. It's done. And I didn't get, you know, nobody said nothing about it. They said I missed one dude, you know. And I left him out on purpose. They just didn't know that, but I did. I left him out on purpose. But anyway, I am Professor Melly Mill, the Hood Postman. Be sure to click the notification bell, like, subscribe, share, drop a comment down below. So when the dope content hit, it'll feel like it's the first team. Man, don't mind me just watching, church moving. But go ahead and lock that door. I'm out.
Cali Finest, baby. Proof grind all the time. Music money. Got a dollar sign. Hub City. I'm a street nigga, streets fuck with me. I'ma keep pushing products till the fans get me. It's guap off top, diamond Cartier. That nigga wall won't give a pro bitch the time of day. They see me climbing, they see me shining. That's hard work, proof of grinding. New money got me tipping in that 550. Ali, bad man, and I'm so pretty. I got that check with me, that's my hater sprayer. Go big, grind now, nigga, play later. What can I say? I'm addicted to this paper stacking, and I don't talk about it, I just make it happen. Word on the block is that my shit go,
Lock the door because we are gone.